That's where I
Ready to start?
Well, let's go first. Becky's gonna get there in just a second.
Okay.
You have the, anyone has the email chat.
I'm looking.
Or the, like the numbers.
Join me. Here we go.
891 782 3065. Four 74072.
All right, a little past 7. So the school board meeting of January 9th, 2023 will come to order. In the absence of our chair and the absence of our vice chair, I've been appointed to run this meeting. So I will do so. Very happy to have you all here. So the first order of business, our pledge of allegiance. I'll stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, and under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Record for the mission statement goals.
Will, mission statement, our mission, to graduate all students with high levels of academic and personal achievement, ready for post-secondary excellence, prepared for productive, compassionate citizenship through research-based instruction and a collaborative system of support.
Thank you, Rusty. I think whenever I hear that, I think about the compassionate and productive. I'm really proud of all of our staff and our students and our community for being as productive and compassionate as we can be. So changes or deletions to the agenda, we have a couple. Jim, you want to
Yes,
do those?
so we need to delete 6.2. We'll move that to announcements
Okay.
for agenda. And then we've got an addition, we've got a packet there, on how to straight travel requests that came in. Part of this, I think, after the pandemic is reminding staff that out-of-state trip does come to the board for approval. And so it's one that is coming from two minds and something he's taken. It sounded like maybe even some of you went on years ago. He's taking your kids on, I think is what he mentioned. To DC, so we need to add that. I suggest it's put it as 6.3. Becky, is that the best or?
Yeah.
Okay.
6.3, okay. Move it. All right. So introductions, first of all, I have a few people here that we haven't had before. We'll start off with Deborah Emily, the introductions.
Deborah Stoneberg, elementary principal. Whitney Conley, special education director.
Arthur Rowe, middle school and high school principal.
Caleb Solomon, middle school assistant principal.
Lena Daniel, senior class president. Serena Albright, senior principal. I'm Ashley Bennett. I was doing the month in November. Keelan Thomas, Title I teacher. Jessica Wilkie, Title I teacher.
Again, thank you all for being here. And we start out with, oh, how about, kind of previous board meetings. We have that, I mentioned.
We've got some presentations for
3.0 is introduction to attend the previous board meetings.
all previous, sorry.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's one to 10 on last.
We had a last minute substitution, so I don't think we have that number.
We don't have your number.
Learning online, I didn't realize.
She's got on here one online and there's no on site last.
Now, very few of the last board meeting. I'm glad to have more here tonight. And now we have the presentation for the school board. Oh, first of all, school board appreciation month. Okay, Leslie and Ruth. You have a- But looking around, I love the posters. I love every year and this year they're more special. And then I noticed we have these all these just great cars. I don't know if you've all seen them or some of these, but you know, they're all, they're really nice, 19 tidy ones, and those are great. But then there's the ones that are, you know, the thank you, and the thank you. It's just super. The kids are thinking that there is a school for it. So those of you who are teachers here or staff members, please tell your students how much we appreciate their efforts. But
Yeah, I was just gonna say that regard and Caleb, please tell any students who wrote us stuff. Huge thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'll send a thank you.
The middle school and high school also shared with you magnets. As well as a sign that was created by both student body and Miss Jankowski.
Oh, my goodness. That's fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I had, you know, both Miss Montoya in my class when I was a she was a seventh grader. So that looks a lot like her work. That is amazing. Wow.
I also had a couple of words that the kids from the bulletin didn't want to share with you all. So what we appreciate about our Pleasant Hill School. We know that all of you serve the community without any pay and with little credit, and often what you get are complaints. But we want you to know that we are grateful for the following: a welcoming and safe school, teachers who love what they teach and love their students, janitors and maintenance staff who work hard to keep the school clean and repaired, administration that tries to keep all the plates spinning and help us solve the myriad of problems that emerge in the day, a food program staffed by loving and kind staff who know us and feed us with a smile no matter what, support for what we do, whether it's sports, music, academics, publications, art, or transportation. We know that you face a lot of problems, and we are grateful for the time and energy you put into solving these problems. Signed, the students of the Billy Bulletin, and the yearbook. 2 classes not present in most schools our size. Thanks for hiring some really cool teachers. The staff is super caring. So thank you all for what you do. And I want to echo that. Thank you so much for your service and helping to support our schools.
On behalf of the elementary staff, thank you for everything you guys do. Supporting our schools, challenging us to step it up and to be the best that we can be. So we really appreciate it.
And on behalf of our entire school community, this month is the School Board Recognition Month. Our school board members are citizen servants who shoulder critical responsibilities and often make difficult choices for our districts, all with no pay. Serving as a link between the community and the classroom, our school board members are elected to establish the policies that provide the framework for our schools. As you look around our district, you'll see the great care and pride that our school board members have taken in fostering that link through establishing and carrying out effective strategies that truly make really great schools that help our community. Tonight, we'd like to present you with a small token of our community's appreciation, providing each of you with a certificate. And you state a certificate of appreciation. They have the board member's name, and then in recognition of valuable contributions you have made to the Pleasant Hill School District as a member of the board of directors.
Very much. The other 2 don't get one.
That's right.
Holding them back.
We are honored to be part of the school board. I think it speaks for all of us on that. We truly appreciate your appreciation of us, but we do this because we love doing it. Also, in terms of all the students making all these great posters and making the statements, I think the gratitude is part of being compassionate. So it's a super that we're all in this together. Very emotional here. Can't run the media about it. So moving on with more recognition. Place.
4.2.
Students of the month.
Yeah, we have students in my thank you. I'm back on place now. So we have students of the month.
So I didn't want to miss our November students of the month as well. Ally was actually our student of the month for the month of November. And Mr. Gray said, Ally Bennett is an extraordinary student when it comes to hard work and integrity. I'm continuously impressed by her perseverance, and positive attitude, in even the most difficult math topics. Mr. Neal said, Ally is a leader in her class. She is always helping to support others, whether that is bringing school supplies for them or keeping them focused in class. She's challenging herself this year in taking AP government and is working really hard and is doing really well. I've been impressed with her desire to succeed and how much she does to help make our school a better place on a daily basis. She has great perspective and a great head on her shoulders. She sets tremendous examples for other students to follow. Thank you, Ally. Appreciate it.
So Ally. What are your plans?
I plan to go to London and go into radiology.
And your parents, and your parents should not.
No, they're both busy.
We appreciate you doing.
Okay, I will, thank you.
And give us two or two that our chairs and your new signer. I'm gonna sign it for him. I'd love to do that. Okay, we'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
And then because she's here, Lena Daniel, come on up. She is our student of the month for December. Miss Watney said, I have Lena Daniel in Spanish folder. She is delightful. I am lucky to have had her in my class for 4 years in a row. It has been wonderful to see her mature from a freshman to a senior. And I know she has a bright future ahead of her. She is great at participating in all class activities and getting braver every day with her spoken Spanish. I notice her confidence in the language has grown much stronger in the last year. Also, she takes Spanish connections from my class and makes them part of her daily life. For instance, she follows her favorite Spanish actor on Instagram. Who's that?
What is his name? Jon Gonzalez. Jon Gonzalez. You should watch it.
And listens to her Spanish music that we played in class. So many good things to say about Lena. I just want to say Lena is a really kind, responsible, and intelligent student. I've been lucky enough to get to know her and to work alongside her as we're working on the board report for all of you. And she has a great willingness to want to share and offer what she can. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
It's my favorite part of being shared. So.
Thank you.
What is it?
I'm gonna go to the University of Oregon to study communication and journalism.
I think that this is a very good plan. In fact, I don't mind such. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the two students that weren't able to join us tonight were Braylon Spears. She was our most improved student of November. Ms. Blansky said she's respectful when coming into the office. This Du Chateau. Braylon is a very positive student who works hard in class. Mr. Neal, Braylon has been doing great work this year. She uses her class time well and has been great about asking questions. He has done a great job of communicating with me and finishing up assignments. He's off to a great start to the school year. Ms. Flood said Braylon shows kindness and warmness wherever she goes. It was always a joy to have her in class. Bray has also overcome and continues to work through some really tough life stuff. And I'm proud of her for not only not giving up, but continuing to show up. Keep it up, Bray. And then Mason Buckley. For December. This Du Chateau said that Mason is doing a better job of completing and handing in his work. Mr. Dubay said Mason has been a joy to work with in PE class. I have truly enjoyed his dry sense of humor and his willingness to participate in class. He is always open to helping when needed and has always been kind and respectful in class. Mr. Devish Miss Davis should say. Mason is a great problem solver and is always on time and respectful in class. Mr. Neal, Mason has made huge strides this year. He has been great at using his class time well, and that has helped him complete work that is thorough and well done. I've been impressed with his work ethic all year.
Please tell those students that are really congratulate them for their work and
I will for sure.
appreciate it. Right. And that brings us to 4.2, the student communication.
So our report this time is a little bit shorter just because there hasn't been as much going on with our homecoming and everything. But winter sports are in full swing. Basketball is in the league games and wrestling is going well. And student council planned Spirit Week for the week of December 5th, so a while ago, but it went super good. We had activities for the students during lunch, and the participation overall has been just like so much better this year than last year, so it's great. And the community movie night has been canceled, which is that's okay. And then we also had the career fair. And I think that also went great. Like we had like so many different companies and jobs to look at. And I think it really opened a lot of students' eyes to like all the possibilities of things to do after high school. So, yeah.
And some things we have coming up, Spring Fest, in like the distant future. That's our next big thing for student council, which I think of stuff we can do in between that time to like fundraise for it. Next month, we're gonna be doing Valentine's like candy grams for fundraise a little bit money. That's about all of them, and I'm sorry, that one.
As well as, of course, going to school and studying really hard.
Yes.
So that's it. So we have any questions for our students? What stands out in your mind from the career fair district?
I thought, the DHS one was just super interesting and like all that they do, I hadn't really like known a lot about it. It's really cool.
Well, thank you both very much. Okay. And that brings us to 5.0, which is public forum. So if I need to read the statement. During this portion of the board meeting, members of the public are specifically invited to present items of commendation and or concerns. At the discretion of the board chair, further public participation may be allowed at the time specific agenda items are under consideration by the board of directors. Policy BBH. Individuals will be viewing online. PHFC posts the upcoming agenda on our website and Friday before regularly scheduled board meetings. This will allow the public comment prior to the board meetings. Please click on the tab provided to share your comments with the school board to consider at the upcoming board meeting. Personnel matters may not be discussed in public at a school board meeting. Members of the public who have personnel concerns or combinations to share them directly with the district superintendent. All that said, are there any public comments?
Thank you for all you do.
You're more than welcome. All right, that brings us to 6.0. And we have the consent agenda. If you look up through there, there's the minutes, there's the a board meeting and work session. I think that's it. So, anyone want to take anything off the consent agenda? I'm sure you read the minutes.
Yeah. That's it.
And I can have a motion.
Move to approve.
I thought it- Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. This brings us to 6.1. Oh, I should say, before I go into our student, yeah, sure. I was there, our student month can leave, and our student rep, if you want to stay, you're more than welcome. I don't think we're going to do either. Sorry, sure that I read it. Bring this to our enrollment reports. See, Jim, do you want to go over those with us a little bit? It's been pretty interesting.
Yes, if you will. All right, so the first one, the exhibit 2223.73 is quarterly comparison to last year's. I go straight down to the total. If you notice, right now we're sitting at 993 compared to last year, we're at 930. Elementary school sitting at 452 compared to last year at 409, middle school at 213 compared to last year at 208, and the high school at 328 compared to 313. So it looks good as far as enrollments going forward. If you flip to exhibits ending .74. And we're looking for month of December, and they're doing some fairly consistent. You'll notice in kindergarten between the start of the school year, and I think this is just a matter of a little bit of just attrition and getting our attendance in play. We're holding steady at 74 students. First grade at 76 students, second grade 70, third grade 80, fourth grade 83, fifth grade 69. Sixth grade, 72 students, seventh grade, 57, eighth grade, 84, ninth, 82, 10th, 85, 11th, 98, and 12th, 63. So a couple of bubbles in there. If you notice, fifth grade was 69 and seventh grade was 57, but for the most part, pretty steady class sizes.
And the biggest and most interesting for me was that we were up quite a bit from last year. Okay. I don't know if that's coming back from COVID or just generally more kids. It's a good thing.
I think that's a pretty steady across the county in the sense of, I think, returning after the first year of COVID. People stayed in either homeschooling or charter school options or online options, and are now returning back to public school at the moment.
And it's a good thing for our district. It's challenging for our staff.
Sure. Yes.
I was looking at this, that's the biggest elementary it's been in 7 years.
Yes, it's been a while since we've been 450 plus. Yes.
Yes. Nice noisy assembly.
Challenging to pick up and drop off time.
You know, we'll take it. Everyone is just very accepting and very gracious and understands, and we've got pause parking working now. But we are growing. We lost 3, I guess I can just, but
Yes.
we lost 3 right before winter break. And we picked up 8 as of this evening. With students, and I know number 9, I think is in the wings. Possibly Sherry called them today on a student.
Are those 8 reflected in these numbers already?
No, they're not even reflected in. But yeah, no, we will be at 75 kindergartners, 78 first graders, 71 second graders, 82 third graders, 82 fourth graders, and 68 fifth graders. And these are students who are here on site every day with us, not on any other district buses. Other district buses.
Amazing. I drive by, don't work here anymore. So I drive by and I look over here and I think all of the bodies are here, hearts beating and, fingers writing and pretty exciting stuff.
That's very exciting.
Well, I'm always going to ask, but like third and fourth grade, looks like they're like up to 27 per class at that rate. How much higher, I guess, if they're in district, there's not a lot you can do other than keep adding them in.
That's right. And having a staff that has a great attitude about it and helps do a lot of great workarounds. One of the workarounds that we went to this year is our walk to read model, which has really helped us out. We're using our data in ways that we've never used it before to really analyze where our kids are working at in the area of reading specifically right now, and then giving them 45 minutes of targeted instruction at their level. And so we've seen some tremendous growth in our data by doing that.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. What we did. It's 6.2. So then we go on to our new one, 6.3, this is for the out of district.
Yes, did you have a packet? Looks similar to this, that number nine.
Yes.
It's an out-of-state travel request presented by Tim Meinzen to take 2 students to Washington DC. The trip is February 18th to 24th. The days that they'll actually be gone that are school related begin February 21st. So we February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Costs are mainly covered by the close-up. I'm assuming it's a foundation, it's the new group for me. And then there's just costs associated with substitutes that I'm working through with the staff and Garth, and getting those classes covered. So like this is the trip that they've taken for many years since the 90s. He's been taking this trip. And then past trips or students that I know have taken trips to Washington DC. It's always been a fascinating trip as far as being able to see the legislative process. Get involved in it. Yeah, we do have Tim online if you have questions.
How many students are going this year?
10 total, 3 males and 7 females.
Why is the Myrtle Point School District providing this?
Okay.
Can I answer that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So a former student teacher of mine, Carl Hartzell, got a job in Myrtle Point School District, and he heard about the close-up program and always wanted to go, and Myrtle Point has never encouraged that until a change in the superintendent. And this year he's got a new superintendent who not only was very excited about the prospect, but it encouraged him and arranged for a bus to take the kids up to DC. He is coming with me and our program.
Cut out, Tim.
Ooh. You think good?
Is he muted?
No, it's not good.
Can you hear us, Tim? We don't hear you. All of a sudden. Oh, now he's in us. Oh, he's unmuted.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened.
We can.
Okay.
Well, we know.
This goal is going to take their kids to they are pretty good since well. So that's how much I need a 3 months. Good one. Center this home. So as long as you say, think before we act together. Real hard. So the little black kids. They're a program that they'll be coming with us. And they're very excited because they've never had an opportunity like this.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, you know. I know they've been a long time ago, my kids went on that trip.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2, I can't remember. Thank you, Jim.
It's the reason why it's coming to as a practice. I talked to the building principal last spring. This is the entire. I'm going. There is a new superintendent. Since I began the year before it improves. This is focused on citizens there. And we need to see, being our senators of a small state, being, city board of command has on this. Seeing the best of democracy in terms of how things work, the accessibility, then really is like and they don't really there's several concerns. It's a nonpartisan because it's funded part of Congress. So we can be sure that we don't want to change the money there. They really do want kids to think about the issues. The very first time they have a conservative, a liberal debate, and then they have the kids answer questions. All the kids are living science. That's the first one. It's the first time they've seen political differences and mature civic and civil. And of course, being in DC, it's a beautiful city. If you've ever been there, you come to love it because it's not a very big city. So reading on the story, speaks to our great privilege to go. The teacher work as well. Still a privilege to go and voice to feel very good to the board. Try to bring them better and on the 4 days or 11 days. So I have to memorize the request for substitute.
I know you can't have a thing, and we would certainly appreciate your talking with the students. That's what you're doing, having a question. Roger, did your voice sort of
Neither did I. No.
They both did. I know, and my friend Bill now lives in DC, so it must have had some kind of effect on him.
Well, keep it going, Tim, until my kids get there, so you've got like 6 more years or something.
Yeah, please do, Tim, we probably do. So do we need to do anything, we need a motion to approve this, yes. Okay, so we're definitely the motion.
I make that motion to approve the out-of-state travel request by Tim Mason. Second.
Okay, moving seconded, any more discussion? So, moving seconded, we approve the out-of-state travel request. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. It is unanimous. So again, Timothy, you have the support of our board.
Thank you, Tim, for joining us.
Just,
I think those papers. All right, that brings us to 7.0, which is board discussion. 7.1 is the superintendent board operating agreement and goals. But I'm sure we don't want to do that tonight with the three of us. And it's been suggested we postpone that to the February 27th work session. But that will both of you. I can't see us doing goals. I can write goals. But they should probably be university. All right, we'll postpone that discussion and goal setting for February. And then we have more insight on the equity on an equity advisory committee. So Jim, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so when I attended the OSBA conference, learned of a 3-part equity series that was being put on by the OSBA. They will essentially take your lead as far as where you may want to start in the process based on where the work has been in the district. So you can start just basic 101 and they'll take you through the 3-part series, or you can start further along the same thing. You don't need to start along, you can start a little further through the process. So the thought that I would bring to you guys, see if there's interest, but I can start to reach out to the presenters for that to see if there's something that we can get on the calendar starting probably next week. in the anticipation, we've got till 2025 for the equity committee.
Yeah, if I understood that, I'd always be able to come and do this training for us.
You do,
Is
yes.
there a charge for that?
I would imagine that there is, because there's gonna be some time and it will have to be at night as far as coming down. They're generally about 3-hour sessions, so we need to stick with as far as our calendar goes. We'll do that. I guess so they're calling it Success for All, 3-part series of approximately 3 hours each, covers issues from the basics of the differences between equity and equality to using data to develop plans to support students. They can help school boards decide where in the series they should start using the latest research. The staff develop the training and understanding that school districts in different parts of the state have unique challenges to raise the achievement levels of all their students. Training aims to guide school board members in how they can best respond to identified local needs.
And I was a little confused. Is that training meant for the committee to be established, or is it meant for the board, or both?
It's not, but I think from some of the questions that we've talked about, like what does equity mean? Or what are we talking about when we talk about equity? I believe that we can have the trainer come in and start to bridge that gap as far as the work or questions that you might have around equity. I think what I was maybe getting at is a common understanding with the board as far as maybe a first measure before going further into the equity committee, so that we're consistent as far as knowing what it is that we're looking for and real clear as far as the guidelines moving forward. I think this might be a good way to do that.
It sounds good, although I think whatever committee we establish will probably need that training as well.
Possibly, yeah.
As well as we're trained well enough, we can train
Right.
the theory anyway.
So I start gathering some information on that, and then I'll talk to OSBA and we'll start to look for some future training.
Good idea. Any further comments on that? Right. Move us to 8.0, reports and information. So we have the quarterly financial report. Sherry, you want to take us through that?
Yes, I apologize, it wasn't included in your packets. We had our financial audit just wrapping up at the end of December, and one of the numbers I gave you to be audited, so they're very last minute, but the first page is the monthly activity report showing the activity for the first 6 months of the fiscal year. Our year-to-date numbers have been adjusted so that it reflects the beginning totals that they give us since their audit ended in July of 22. Both our current year and our prior year's property tax collections have been very strong. So I see that our revenues are in that area are well ahead of where they could be if it was more of a normal year. So I don't know that we're going to collect more than we budgeted, but we're definitely collecting sooner than we usually do. Which is interesting because it's both current and the prior year that they don't usually coincide that well. We have made our transfers to reserves, so those are reflected in this report. So the first 6 months, once again, expenditures are a little behind within the first few months of the year. Salaries and benefits are very low, and expenditures don't really get started till into the second and third quarter. So you'll see some of those numbers catch up to revenues in the near future. Is there any questions on that first document? So on the back side of that, this second one is going to be the reserves and the special revenue accounts. So those will show that the reserve money has gone from general fund into those special funds. And there's also shows the total expenditures that have gone out of those funds as of December 31st. The other special revenue funds are the two self-supporting funds, that would be the preschool program and the food service fund. So we do report on those separately to kind of see where they are. And we did just complete, or we're almost complete with our food service audit. That was quite an effort. Thank you, Becky. But still a couple jobs to do with that, and then we'll have really better numbers on that one as well. Any questions on that one?
Well, I just have a question on the Cape Cod and Richmond. It seems like we haven't spent very much of that money. What's been happening through the year?
Correct. There's not a ton of activity in that account, and part of that is I think we've made such good use of some of the other title funds for some things that we used to do more out of that, but we have done some LCC classes out of that. And then what else we,
We've done artists and residents for the elementary, so we'll have that coming up in April.
so we will use more of that. And that's one of the reserve accounts, so we can move more in there if we're using more, but we're just trying to kind of keep it steady at this point. All right, so the next report is our cash accounts, showing the general checking, payroll. So up in the cash accounts, those are our everyday accounts that we use for regular expenses. If you go to the second portion, the local government investment pool, that is where all the state school fund money goes directly in, the state deposits directly to them. Lane County deposits directly to them for our property taxes. And part of the reason is that if we were to keep those large sums in our checking accounts, they would not be insured to the level they are for the local government. So we move money 2 or 3 times a month, and our goal is to keep 100,000 in our checking account and 10,000 in our payroll account. So we just move money in, we rebalance at the beginning of the month and then just try to keep that balance as we go forward, so there's less money at risk. The Stan Smith Scholarship Fund, baseball scholarship that's been going on for several years. It does not get replenished, but they do $1,000, so it looks like we've got another 7 years left to use that. And then the money market is owned by the high school. It's just their balances were getting high, and we don't use the government investment fund for that. So we start pulling some money out into a money market just to keep it better insured. Any questions on that one? Okay, so my last one is a summary of year-to-date expenses and then a projection. So this is our first projection of the year on where we think we will be in terms of revenues and expenses. So revenues are never encumbered. They get counted as they come in. But you'll see comparison between what we expect we're going to get and what we budgeted. You'll see specifically prior year taxes, I'm expecting to come in at about $9,500 more than we budgeted. Because they're just coming in very strong. The regular current year taxes, I believe, will probably be pretty close to what we budgeted. Though it's coming early, so it might be potential for more. And then down in requirements, what you see as encumbered in salaries and benefits, it's a hard number because the only thing that really gets encumbered are salaries, which are for admin and license, and then there's an estimate in there for hourly, but there's really no way to encumber substitutes. We don't always know what levels coaches are going to be at, so the hourly employees are not really in that number, but I did try to project what I thought that they would be. Same thing with the benefits. Purchase services starts out very slow in the year and goes on. I think I expected that we would be under our purchase services mostly because of transportation, because we don't have our full lineup of buses that we usually have. So we budgeted for a full, I think 8 buses, 8 regular buses and 3 special ed. And I think we're getting 52. So that means less money spent, and it also means a lower state school fund reimbursement, because they do reimburse us on that. So I had that's where you see the $146,000. I think that we might have. That difference is that we're going to get more state school fund than we budgeted based on enrollment, but we're going to get less based on the transportation. And overall, I think we'll still be ahead of where we budgeted. Any questions on that? Well, that's all I have, unless
That's a lot.
there's something else.
I said many times before, I'm glad you're doing it. Right. That brings us to 8.2, which is the high school and the middle school report.
All right, so we're running a Respect Our Space campaign for the month of January at both the middle school and the high school. This campaign is focused on the many responsibilities of staff, including body have, in order to ensure that we are appropriately respecting our space and keeping it clean. So that's picking up after yourself, speaking kind words, not using profanity, some of those things. We're just trying to really identify and share what those expectations are for the student body. Most approved and student of the month. Congratulations to our most approved high school student of the month of December. Freshman Joseph Hawley, sophomore Skylar McIrvin King, junior Alex Floyd, and senior Mason Buckley. Congratulations to our high school students of the month for December. Freshman Jose Chevalier, sophomore Ellie Epperson, junior Jack Perini, and senior Lena Daniel. And in coordination with the Sleep and Heavenly Peace Foundation, our high school woodshop students are building 20 new beds this year for children in need. They're also building 2-story sheds for St. Vincent de Paul. So they're doing some really great work for our community. The band and vocal departments had their winter concerts with a lot of support from families and friends. It was 2 fun nights for all who attended. They're looking forward to their upcoming festival season. Our 2 high school jazz bands will be traveling to compete at the Oregon Jazz Festival on January 20th and 21st. Both jazz bands recently competed at the McKay High School Jazz Festival in December. With the Lunch Buddies program up and running, we have 17 middle school students and 14 high school students paired up with students in the elementary school. So we're really working with that partnership in a number of different ways, also providing some opportunities this coming semester to Deborah's been kind enough to identify teachers that are interested in having TAs. We have quite a few students that are TAing that aren't necessarily tasked with all that much. And so having the opportunity to work with some of the kids at the younger levels, we're trying to really maximize the opportunities for that. Middle school dance. Middle school students had their first dance of the school year, and I think actually their first middle school dance. They had fun games and snacks to round out the event. The turnout was amazing with 148 students attending. We have a middle school field trip this week on January 12th. We are taking all middle school students on a community building field trip to Putters and Strike City as a reward for the first quarter. So that'll be fun. Our Giving Tree and food drive helped serve 20 families in our community this year. So both of those, both the Giving Tree and the food drive directly help families in this community. So that's pretty cool. Coder Create, congratulations to Aspen Casey and his team on placing second overall, as well as taking best in show at the 2022 Coder Create Game Creation Challenge this past month. Aspen and his team programmed an entire video game in less than 2 days and even beat out the team that designed a VR game. Great job, Aspen. And what's even more impressive about that is that many of the schools and students that are participating have an active technology program up and running. We'd love to see that happen at Pleasant Hill, but they did it pretty much on their own without the help of staff or anybody else. Events coming up January 20th, senior night for wrestling. February 2nd is the end of semester 1. February 9th is basketball senior night. And then I've also attached, because we didn't get to see each other in December, my report for December. We did have 286 students make the honor roll last quarter, and all 286 students were awarded certificates and a free Papa's Pizza for this great accomplishment. So that was pretty cool. And as promised, I also have on December's report, kind of a breakdown by grade of how we ended up at the quarter. So.
We haven't seen that. We haven't seen the breakdown grade.
And they are on the report that I shared with you.
We haven't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're also working on focusing on adult SEL. We continue to work with Daniel Gallo and Angela at the Delaney SD. That's going to be kind of the foundational work that we're going to be doing with the staff leading into next year and really embracing sources of strength with our student body. So we're kind of priming the pump on that one.
Interesting. I'm very interested in the grade breakdown I see here on the chart. I think we'll be talking about that more when we have the fifth group line and we can talk about those kinds of things at that meeting. Thank you. Any questions for Eric? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's pretty complete. A lot of information. Okay. And that was 8.2, is that right? So, Caleb, you only did this before I left middle school. Or covered that up for.
Thanks, Bob.
As a former middle school teacher, I want to know middle school is very important. When it comes to Deborah.
Well, I've already touched on enrollment, so I won't add any more to that. But I also want to touch a little bit about community giving and what an incredible month December was. At the elementary level, we always do a food drive. We collected over 750 pounds of food that went into the community service teams project of helping our community families. And I can honestly tell you, 20+ families were assisted at the elementary level through that our community service team. And we had some other donors step up at the last minute calling me saying, hey, I want to sponsor a family. What can I do? And it was just incredible. Our third graders did their annual trip to Toys for Tots. They got to go shopping at Target. And lo and behold, my daughter was even at Target. Rusty will appreciate the story and probably has heard it a little bit himself. She got done with the final and decided her reward was to go to Target and go shopping. I thought, what a reward. But that's what she did. And she said, Mom, I walked in and there were 70+ children all over Target. And I thought, no way am I going to have a relaxing time. But she said, being an administrator's daughter, she goes, I just said, nope, I'm gonna make this a positive experience. And she was in my kitchen telling me, and she goes, well, you should have seen these kids. They were so polite and so appropriate and asking good questions and being thoughtful of others. And she said, so I started listening in a little bit closer to conversation. And then finally someone identified themselves as Pleasant Hill and she started describing people and I'm like, yeah, that was one of my third grade teachers. And so it was really fun to be able to say to our kids, nice job demonstrating really spirit out and everyone what it's about. So I'm very pleased to get that little sideline report from one of my own family members. It was very fun to hear. We also had our winter concerts. I think we learned something. After a 3-year hiatus, let me tell you, we built to capacity, and capacity is 1,000 people in our gym, and we were there 2 nights in a row. We immediately have made a little adjustment for next year that we will split our concert over 3 nights instead of 2 nights. But it was so fun, and the energy level was just incredible. I wish all of you could have been things for being remembered. We're excited right now in Pleasant Hill School District. We're doing something we've not done, and it's been a dream of mine for a long time to have a K-12 initiative. And so we are doing a K-12 initiative with the CHAMPS program. We have brought in Jessica Sprick to work with our schools K-12, helping us to put some frameworks together on classroom management that will start in kindergarten and conclude when kids graduate high school. So Jessica was here working with my staff on the 3rd of January. And what she's working with the staff on is thinking through the conversation levels that they're in their classroom. And this just happens to be an example of one that one of my grade levels actually put together. During whole group time, what does the conversation level look like and sound like and feel like? How do students get help? So that they're not just sitting at their desks, tapping their pencil, or tapping the teacher, or doing something else that we wish that they weren't doing, like rolling on the floor. Yes. What's the activity that they need to be doing? What's the movement? Because we happen to know that all of us, adults included, have to move quite frequently. We can't just sit still. And then what's the participation? What does participation look like? Of course, and if you're doing all of those things, you're having success. And we gain a lot of success because it gives our teachers more time to focus on their students. So we will continue working with her. The elementary will do it over the course of 4 sessions. High school will begin theirs on the 23rd and 24th. They'll have a small representative group of the middle school and high school working with her for 2 days. And we'll see where it goes from there, but we're really excited to be able to bring her in. I did bring my TAMPS book with me tonight. If anyone wants some lovely reading, it's better than State Department reading. It is more exciting. I'll tell you that. You don't have to fall asleep with that one. We also, at the elementary, you know, every time we come back from a break, we review what Billy Spirit is, our expectations that we expect everyone to be kind, respectful, responsible, and safe. And the PBIS team said, hey, you know, we've been doing a lot more growth mindsets. It changed up just a little bit. Let's have Billy's Got Heart. And so what that is we're doing a character trait every month. And this month we're doing the trait of honor. Next month we'll be doing empathy. We'll then move to accountability, respect, and teamwork. And so the staff will be giving awards out to students this month who they catch being very honorable. And each month we'll do a special award for kids that we catch. And so we're really focused in on those characteristics as well. We're also holding Safety Week this week. So we started today with our secure drill, which is basically, we just secure down the doors, we keep everyone inside the building. It's in case of an accident up on Highway 58, which we have gone through before, or we have a cougar setting, which we have had on this campus a few times. So we did a great job practicing that today. Tomorrow we'll look at a fire drill. We'll do an earthquake drill. We'll do a 3-whistle drill. We'll do room clear drill this week. So we revisit. Also, I didn't ask them, I'm just going to invite you, if you would like to be part of the universal screening team, it is time to do winter universal screening. And we know that all of you were beautifully trained last year. Kaylin and Jessica will be doing universal screening starting January 26th. Yeah. And going that whole week, they will be doing it in the afternoon so that we continue our walk to read because they are an integral part of walk to read. So if you were interested and you have some free time and would like to test out your skills, we invite you to contact one of us and we'll get it set up for you. Love to have you.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
And for all you do, you know, it's really truly exciting. Both the high school and the middle school and the elementary. I know you work really hard at it, and I think it's just great for our community. Thank you. Questions for the for overwhelmed by all things you do. Right. That brings us to the superintendent report.
Yes, so a couple things to report on. We've got 2 open budget member slots that we've had posted on our website, our reader board. Super exciting positions. We haven't had anybody apply yet. But we're still working out there.
So we need to.
We'll start hitting up some local connections, see if we can get some some commitments, no, we still got time though, so we started early in the process, got time to fill those vacancies. Our budget orientation is scheduled for May 1st with our first budget committee meeting scheduled for May 15th, so just have some time coming up on that. As you've heard tonight, we're working a lot on K-12 alignment. We even did some training around some dibbles in our 6th grade. We'll start getting some of that reading assessment going into the middle school now.
We're doing assessments this week.
This week. Middle and high school teachers will also start beginning to do some course online or some course outline work as well. A lot of that's just returning from the pandemic, getting back to make sure we've got an aligned scope and sequence curriculum for our kiddos, and so that we know what's happening from course to course. We're going to work on the course outline, and that begins this month as well, correct? The other big piece that's coming up is in the fall, we had an integrated guidance team that went to Lane Community College. Some initial planning around that. We've got another one this Friday, January 13th. Really, it's about time to start putting together the integrated guidance plan. Hope to have that ready to go out to the public and come to the board for review. I'm anticipating it's going to be about February 13th. To bring it to take a look at, and then probably for an approval by the 27th for it to post to the state for final approval. It's a challenging document. They always are when you're doing the school improvement plan or district improvement plans. In that, so much of the work that you are doing, as you can see right now, we've got items that we're actually doing right now as we're taking information, using past information, and then starting to build a plan. So bringing that all together is a bit of a challenge, but hope to have something for you to review by the 13th and then approve on the 27th to send off to the state by March for approval.
What questions for Jim?
And that, I guess I'll add this. As you see as well, we continue to get ourselves back to normal in the pandemic. A lot of activities going on, a lot of community members coming in, and I think we're getting closer and closer to returning almost fully to normal. I know we've got some activities that we've still got to get in place. We'll do some, I think, dry runs this spring, and then almost certainly by next September, we should be back to full operation.
And I think that the chance program within the K-12 initiative, I think in the course alignment, all the things are terrifically important for our kids educators. Very encouraging to hear that plans are going forward in that direction. The less fragmented we are and the more united we are, the more our kids will benefit. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Bring this to board communication. Or do you want to communicate? Well, kind of like Timothy, I can communicate all night. But I think it's always enough. Thank you. And any other business? Anybody? Thank you. Our next meetings are February 13th at 7 p.m. right here. And other than that, I guess we stand adjourned.
Did it.